My name is Derick. I'm 19 years old and I'm from the United States. And I think for me growing up, the biggest struggle was just being incredibly unattractive. Like I was literally morbidly obese. I didn't care anything about fashion. I didn't care about like how my hair looked, had acne. And for me, I had a very black pilled mindset without even knowing it, right? Like for me, I always thought like, why do I need to dress a certain way for people or girls to like me? Why do I need to build muscle just for girls to like look at me? Like, no, the real like the girl right for me should just accept me for the way I am. Why am I so lonely, right? And I thought this way for a long time. And for me, like I always just told myself, like, don't worry about it, right? You'll find the right person. But everywhere I went, everywhere I like met people, to be fair, I did still make friends. I still talked to girls, maybe because my personality was able to shine through my ugliness. But at the same time, right, I still wasn't commanding the respect that I knew I could have had, or having the attraction towards women that I could have had. And I just obviously didn't really respect myself enough because I literally would wear the same clothes to school that I slept in or fapped in, right? But that was just where my life was at before I joined Adonis school or really just found Hamza in general.
How did people react with your black pilled mindset? Did people think you were entitled?
To be honest, this was something I honestly, this is kind of the first time I'm sharing about it. Like, I never told anyone about this.
Right. And how did that make you feel then when you had this belief that why should I change? But obviously, if you don't change, nothing changes in your life. Did it make you feel like you were wasting your time at all?
Absolutely. I think for most of us men, it's like when we know we have untapped potential, a lot of us, we either get depressed or like we just have mental health problems, right? Because as young masculine men or even just young men in general, I feel like we all have this core purpose or this desire, right? And if we know we're not living up to it and we're living this like kind of like a shadow of a life compared to where we could have been, it's just like without even knowing it, it's like we just feel like shit. And I think for me, at some point, I just became really overwhelmed with it. It was actually around like 2019, like early 2020, around like when the pandemic hit, where I kind of decided to make a change. And also kind of when I coincidentally found Hamza as well.
Perfect. I'll share my screen because your progress pictures, they're some of the best I've ever seen. Like, and that's putting it mildly. Talk me through this picture. When was it taken? Approximately.
This was taken in 2019. I was a second year in high school. Dude, I'm telling you, like, I think during this phase, like, I was literally eating probably close to like 3 to 3,500 calories per day.
Wow.
Obviously, it was all shit. I mean, dude, I literally did not take care of my hygiene. Like, as you can tell by my hair as well, like, I didn't care about my hair whatsoever. I literally was quite unkept. Like, you could probably smell the musk from my shirt if I'm gonna be honest with you. But I mean, during this phase of my life, I think I was just completely oblivious and naive to the fact that like attractiveness does matter. Well, I knew it mattered, but not to the degree I realize now. And also just how much it also did for your well-being. Because yes, yes, we all do it for girls. Yes, we all do it for like validation. But I think also just being well kept makes you see yourself in a higher regard, right? You just have more self-respect for yourself because you're actually putting in the effort to taking care of yourself, making sure that you're looking presentable and that you're not unkept or unhealthy, right?
Yeah, brilliant. Because the change from this to this is insane. You literally look like a model, bro. Like you should go work at H&M and your picture will be on on this on the pollards as buy our new shirt. Like that's incredible. Not only has your hair significantly improved, you've actually got like a steel jawline, you've got muscular forearms. Like this is just amazing. What exactly did you do to transition from a loser essentially to someone that's like in the top percent of men your age?
Right. So I think the number one biggest thing I start off with was cutting.
Mm,
And to be fair, like I actually should have cut because I was, like I said, morbidly obese. I think most young men should actually bulk, but I was definitely above like 25%. So I cut down to I think maybe like around 14 to 16%. Then I
mm,
went on a lean bulk, put on like a fair decent amount of muscle foundation. And then from there and then on, it was really just optimizing, my hair, my fashion, Honestly, I think for most people, if they just followed Hamza's looks maxing guide, I think they'll just make just as good results as I did.
Mm,
But it was essentially just that, focusing on the 80-20 rule, focusing on 20% of the activities that will give me 80% of the results. So what is that?
right.
Diet, optimizing my training, making sure that I'm building muscle and that I'm also fueling myself with enough calories that are good calories, right? So because like you can bulk on shit, but it's like you'll gain fat, you'll have acne, which I kind of learned the hard way through like my first bulk. But also just like I said, improving the things that will have the biggest bang for your buck, right? So that would also be things like your hair, right? And I think more importantly, this is a lot of the things that none of the looks maxing people will talk about. None of the like I don't know, these so-called like influencers would kind of tell you about. But I think the biggest change that made me more attractive was none of this. It wasn't the muscle. It wasn't being at a low body fat percentage. It wasn't even like the clothes or the watch or anything. It was the way I carried myself and my personality. A lot of us have fallen into this trap with like the red pill where it's just like, oh, just have the watch, bro. Just have the car. Just have the money and the girls will come to you. Yeah, that's true. But it's a certain level of women that you would attract with that type of materialism. I think what matters more, and as I used to think this was wishy washy, but I realized that it's not. It's more so connecting and being more aware of your spiritual side, your personality, and the way you carry yourself as a man, both physically with like body language, but also just the way you talk and navigate life. Because I think that's the most attractive thing to a woman, right? A guy who has his shit under control, a guy who has a purpose, and someone who is very mature, very patient, and also very loving and reliable.
Mm. Absolutely well said. I agree with you 100%. And as you can see from the pictures, it's not just your insane physical transformation, like your change in leanness, your jawline. You literally put effort into your hair, you put effort into your shirt, you're sitting there with confidence, you look like a man in charge, and all those combined is what gets women attracted to you like a magnet. And it's so amazing to see. Derick, we've spoken before. That was an amazing call. This has been an amazing call as well. Thank you so much, bro, for coming back and speaking to me. I'm definitely going to be uploading this onto YouTube. And as always, I absolutely love seeing you in Adonis schools.